If I lost everything, including my labs, my supplements, my routines, my connections, but kept what I actually know now, this is exactly how I'd rebuild my longevity from the ground up. If you're really getting started in the longevity space, or you're overwhelmed by all the noise and do I need to live in a petri dish in order to live long forever? This video will help you shortcut the things that will help you get on a really good track to do what is right and get you moving in a really good direction. So the first thing that you always have to start with is your mindset. You have to understand that longevity, it starts with the habits that you form, and the habits that you form are typically based off of your identity. So how you see yourself in the mirror when you look at yourself, the thoughts that you have about yourself, are they empowering? Are you able to identify as somebody that is healthy, that makes healthy decisions, that's fit, that surrounds yourself with healthy people, that is going to live to 120, 130, 140 in good health, if that's possible, right? So my goal is to live to 156. I've got one of the top biological ages in the world. I'm in my 40s, but I am 10 plus years younger than my biological year. And I've got a lot of biological clocks that are well younger than that. And by the way, you got to watch out for these people that are saying, hey, I'm 50 years old, but biologically I'm 16, right? Because there are a ton of biological clocks in your body. And typically there's one or two biological clocks that can be very young. And then there's others that are, maybe not so young. Okay, so the number one thing, like I said, is to start with your identity-based mindset shifts. So what I want you to think about is, how do I actually view myself right now? Am I consistently eating healthy? Am I consistently moving my body? Am I consistently going to bed at a healthy hour and waking up at a healthy hour? Do I have a healthy circadian or biological rhythm? If you kind of create a list of the identity of who you are right now, you may find, look, I am loose. I am maybe a little bit into too much fast food, or I might be staying up really late at night, or whatever. That's your identity. That's the way that you view yourself. So in order to change your habit, you have to first change your identity. And so anything that you want to do, and this is what I would do if I had to go back, was I would just start with my mindset. I'm like, look, my mindset right now is I'm one of the healthiest people in the world, and I'm going to be one of the top longevity and health optimization, human optimization experts in the world that will allow for people to live longer, healthier, more vibrant lives. That's my identity. My identity is that I work out on a regular basis, that I'm fit. I look at fitness beyond just working out at the gym or doing stuff. Like, I am healthy, I'm fit. I go for walks after dinner with my children and my family. I jump in the pool, I run, I bike, etc. So I look for other ways outside of just gym hours to also move my body and be active with my children, right? Between meetings, I do squats or kettlebell swings, or I do push-ups. I like to go from sitting to standing while I'm, so again, all of that is identity. It's the way that I view myself, and it allows for me to develop and adopt healthy habits. Okay. So number one is to really look into your identity. The second thing that I would do is I would look into the first 3 habits, identity-based habits that I want to lock in, right? I want to lock these in. And those 3 identity-based habits, and there's a lot that we could get into here, right? But the first, easiest, lowest hanging fruit that I would adopt, that I have not adopted in my life, in fact, I've done the opposite of this, is to really go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. That habit is so powerful. Why? Because you are essentially creating a biological rhythm or a circadian rhythm that will allow for your body to produce a certain amount of melatonin at the same time every night, that allows for you to get really deep, amazing, powerful sleeps. And honestly, I would try to get to bed a little bit earlier than later, right? And I know some people are like, hey, look, I'm a night owl or I'm an early bird, so it's easy for me to go to bed early. But the research is very clear on the earlier you get to bed, the better it is for the detoxification of your liver, the drainage of your lymphatic system in your brain that helps to drain toxins out of your brain, etc. So ultimately that would be the first habit, which means I need to create an identity that I go to bed early, right? Or I go to bed at the same time every night. And you need to be committed to that. And look, you don't have to be perfect. I'm not asking for you to be perfect. I don't think the longevity lifestyle, and if you want to get into optimal living, you have to essentially be doing the same thing every single night, 100% of the time, right? If you're 80%, if you're 90%, if you're 95%, that's good too. So there's no legalism. That's another thing that I would take away is legalism in my identity, because I was very legalistic, and then I'd feel guilty and I'd feel frustrated because I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And that would make me not do the thing that I want to do even more. So I hope you can see that there's kind of this negative feedback loop that happens through legalism in around health. So number one, again, in the first 3 habits that I would lock in is going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. Unbelievable what it does for your health. Number 2, it would be around nutrition. Okay. So I would just be really looking at what is it genetically that I should be consuming, right? Some people genetically need to be eating a little bit more higher fat diet. Other people need to be eating more protein. Some people are like, man, carnivore is so amazing for me. It's because genetically they're programmed to have more protein, right? Some people are like, man, I love, veganism. It helped me come full of life. Well, maybe genetically you are programmed to have more vegetables, etc. So I would look at my genetics and I would focus on my genetics to inform kind of the nutrition that I should have. Now, I've looked at a lot of genetics. I've looked at a lot. I became human potential genomics certified, and which I don't even know if the certification is there anymore. But I mean, I had to look at over 400 single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, that are the kind of unique elements of your genetics that make up who you are. And so I learned that I had the CYP gene, which is the slow metabolism of caffeine gene, which is that's why I don't do well with coffee, because every time I drink coffee, I'm buzzing and it's not good. That was very informative for me to help me understand the nutrition that I should be on. But after doing thousands of genetic panels in the health participants, which is my word for patients that I've worked with, what I found is that the low carb Mediterranean diet, where people can kind of come in and out of ketosis, but they're more in ketosis than not, is genetically the best diet for us to be on. And the Mediterranean diet has healthy vegetables, healthy protein, healthy fats. And again, some people, they want to lean more higher protein. Some people want to lean more higher vegetable. If you're wanting to be more vegan, if you want more vegetables in your diet, all I would say is just make sure that you take something like Perfect Aminos or some sort of amino acid supplement to get your leucine and isoleucine levels, etc., elevated in your body, so that you can stimulate mTOR pathways, which is the muscle building pathways of your body, and things of that nature. All right, so that's habit number 2. Number 1 is going to be, again, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. Number 2 is going to be, how can I figure out the best genetic-based diet for me? Just know that if you don't want to do any testing, etc., more of a low-carb Mediterranean diet is probably the best that I've seen across the board. And then you just experiment, with the various things that would be best for your physiology. And you listen to your innate intelligence and what your innate intelligence is telling you, which is your body, right? Something that doctors don't talk about is the fact that you have an amazing intelligence inside of you that can tell you and communicate to you, things that a lab test won't even tell you, right? So be in tune with yourself and your innate intelligence. The third thing that I would do, and this is just for me, I think the third thing that other people should do is get fit and build a lifestyle of fitness. That is absolutely important. But I'm just saying, for me, the third thing And the third habit that I would integrate is getting really consistent with taking my supplements. Now, the thing with me is I don't like doing the same thing every single day. And my supplement regimen changes, throughout the day. But I will say I've been bad at taking supplements. Notice how I just changed my language pattern there. My identity was, I'm bad at taking supplements in the past. And I've always said that I'm terrible at taking supplements. I hate taking supplements. That was my identity. Now my identity is I love taking supplements. These supplements help me live healthier, longer, get better sleeps, feel more vibrant. And it's not just supplements. It might be a peptide. It might be, an exosome shot. It might be some sort of therapy or something like that. Like I did tissue regenerative therapy yesterday that got rid of a lot of the senescent cells in my body and flushed my body and released a ton of exosomes and then migrated stem cells in my own body to the area that I did the TRT. So that is like the identity that I want is I do these things. I'm in the habit of doing these things. And so I kid you not that I have recently developed and adopted this identity of I am consistent with my lifestyle. I consume healthy foods. I take my supplements and I have, supplements throughout the day. Now, again, I have a vision in the future and I'm working on this vision right now to be a reality and it's coming very, very soon so that you don't have to take a ton of supplements and it's customized. Every supplement is customized to you. So stay tuned. That's probably coming in like a year from now, but I'm working very hard on that in the background. So the first lab that I would run on a budget would probably be my real age test. I want to know what my biological ages are. What is my biological age? I would do that real age test and I would order that. I think it's $297, I believe, or $350 or something like that. And so on a budget, right? So maybe if you're looking at that as being too expensive as well, then what I would do just as a bare minimum is just look at some of the inflammatory panels from like LabCorp or some other lab company. Just look at like C-reactive protein, homocysteine, just see where your inflammatory levels are at, just to see if you're in a place of inflammation. And if you are, follow my first 3 habits. That is what I would do as a foundation. Number 4 is I would build a minimalist supplement stack. Okay. So what it would be in my supplement stack? I would have healthy fatty acids. I would have a healthy micronutrient supplement. There's a supplement from Qualia that is like a good, it's called like Life, and it's like a longevity supplement, but it has a lot of like core like longevity ingredients. So I would be on that. I would be on a new supplement that I'm coming out with, which is called the Longevity Stack supplement, because it has a lot of the most important longevity ingredients in one supplement that it takes away you having to take like 25 different pills. And it really just allows for you to just take one shot of supplements twice a day. And you've got, the equivalent of a lot of supplements you have to take for longevity. And then the multi-mineral supplement, which I think would be really important. So that would be kind of the foundational supplement stack that I would use. And again, there's a lot of other things that you would want to like customize for your health and your body, but that's just the foundation that I would do. Again, simplify your nutrition, get on more of a low carb Mediterranean diet, and then focus on nervous system health. And focus on nervous system health early. A lot of us are stressed out. Think about this. Does social media help you get more healthy or less healthy and stressed out? You know what? I love, like my wife will use social media to just laugh. And so her social media feed is like comical. And so that's healthy, right? But there's other people that's all news. And there's this person I talked to the other day and they're like, I am so depressed. I'm so stressed out. My HRV's tanked. I'm like, why? Heart rate variability. And she's like, I'm on New York Times all the time. And I'm reading up on, different things on CNN and et cetera. Constant negative news, I say. And so if you are on just any news media, on social media, and you're getting that, you're going to damage your nervous system over time. And I mean that. You're going to damage your nervous system over time. If you do that before bed, it causes issues with your ability to sleep. So my recommendation is really focus on what you can do to decrease stress and have a healthy nervous system that will allow for you to flourish in the years to come. And so I look to, especially at night, I have a rule that I turn my phone off as the sun's setting. So that might be 6 o'clock, in the winter, but it might be like 8 o'clock in the summer or something like that. And then I just don't want any blue light exposure. The other thing is that I want to just read books, go into the sauna, or stretch, or do myofascial release or something like that at night. So I hope that this has been very informative for you. This is what I would do if I had to redo everything and really recreate kind of a foundational longevity package. And if, again, I had to start over, I wouldn't chase all these hacks. I would just master these fundamentals. And I really do believe that longevity, it starts with sleep. It starts with the way you eat. It starts with moving and the way that you think and having an identity-based habit transformation in yourself, where you view yourself as somebody that does these things. And if you don't, then all of this is for nothing, right? So my goal for you is to start today, start simple. And again, we want to really create a vision for what's possible for you in the future. So if you like this, please share it with other people. Click that subscribe and that bell button. And thanks so much for watching.